Stop scrolling right now. What if I told you that a simple Jefferson nickel sitting in your pocket, coin jar, or old collection could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars? Most people see these coins every day and never realize the hidden treasures they might be holding. In today's video, we're counting down the top 5 most valuable Jefferson Nickels featuring the iconic Monticello design. From rare mint errors to low mintage treasures that collectors are desperately searching for, these coins have shocked the coin collecting world with their incredible values. Make sure you watch until the very end, because the number 1 coin on this list could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Let's get started with the top 5 Jefferson Nickels that could make you rich. We've finally reached the number 1 coin on our countdown, and this is a coin that every Jefferson Nickel collector dreams of owning. The 1938 Jefferson Nickel is much more than just another 5-cent piece. It represents the very first year the Jefferson Nickel series was produced, and it was struck at the San Francisco Mint, identified by the small S mint mark on the reverse beside Monticello. When the Jefferson Nickel debuted in 1938, it replaced the famous Buffalo nickel, introducing a completely new design by Felix Schlag. The obverse features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, while the reverse showcases his historic Virginia home, Monticello. The 1938 issue quickly became one of the key dates in the series because the San Francisco Mint produced far fewer coins than the Philadelphia and Denver Mints. Only about 4.1 million 1938 Jefferson Nickels were struck, making it the lowest mintage regular issue Jefferson Nickel of 1938. While millions may sound like a large number, decades of circulation, loss, and damage have made high-quality examples surprisingly scarce today. Most of these nickels entered circulation immediately after they left the mint. They were used in grocery stores, restaurants, gas stations, movie theaters, and countless everyday transactions. Few people imagined that these ordinary 5-cent coins would someday become highly collectible treasures. What truly separates an ordinary 1938 Jefferson Nickel from a valuable one is its condition. Coins that spent years in circulation usually show worn details, dull surfaces, and numerous scratches. However, examples that escaped circulation and retained their original mint luster are much more desirable. Collectors pay especially close attention to the reverse of the coin. Beneath Monticello are the famous steps that lead to the entrance of Jefferson's home. If every step is fully struck and clearly visible, the coin may qualify for the coveted full steps designation. Finding a 1938 Jefferson Nickel with full steps is extremely difficult. Many coins from the San Francisco Mint were struck with slightly weaker details, leaving incomplete steps. Because of this, certified full steps examples are among the most sought-after coins in the entire Jefferson Nickel series. Professional grading services carefully examine every detail before assigning a grade. Even the smallest scratch or contact mark can affect the final grade and significantly influence the coin's value. That's why collectors search tirelessly for coins with outstanding eye appeal, brilliant luster, and razor-sharp details. Over the years, exceptional 1938 Jefferson Nickels have attracted tremendous attention at major auctions. While circulated examples may sell for modest amounts, superb mint state full steps examples have realized tens of thousands of dollars, making this one of the most valuable regular issue Jefferson Nickels ever produced. Many collectors consider the 1938 the cornerstone of a complete Jefferson Nickel collection. Without this important first-year San Francisco issue, a collection feels incomplete. Its combination of historical significance, relatively low mintage, and scarcity in top condition continues to drive strong collector demand. The coin also represents an important moment in American history. Released during the late 1930s, it circulated during a period when the nation was recovering from the Great Depression. Every surviving coin has witnessed generations of American history, passing through countless hands over nearly 9 decades. Hidden treasures are still being discovered today. Estate sales, inherited collections, forgotten coin albums, and old piggy banks occasionally reveal remarkable examples that have remained untouched for decades. That's why experienced collectors never ignore an old Jefferson Nickel. If you happen to own a 1938 S Jefferson Nickel, examine it carefully. Look for the S mint mark, inspect the overall condition, and pay close attention to the steps beneath Monticello. A sharply struck, well-preserved example could be worth far more than its 5-cent face value. And that's what makes coin collecting so exciting. Sometimes the greatest treasures aren't made of gold or silver. They're ordinary-looking coins hiding extraordinary value. The 1938 S. Jefferson Nickel proves that even a humble 5-cent piece can become a legendary collectible and one of the most prized coins in American numismatic history. Now it's time for coin number 2, and this is a coin that countless Americans have handled over the years without ever realizing its true potential. The 1940 Jefferson Nickel with no mint mark, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, may look like an ordinary 5-cent coin, but for serious collectors, certain examples are among the most desirable coins in the Jefferson Nickel series. The absence of a mint mark tells us this coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. In 1940, Philadelphia was producing millions of coins to meet the nation's growing demand for everyday currency. These nickels quickly entered circulation and were used in grocery stores, restaurants, train stations, movie theaters, and thousands of businesses across America. At first glance, there doesn't seem to be anything extraordinary about this coin. It features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his famous home, Monticello, on the reverse. Yet collectors know that appearances can be deceiving. Some 1940 nickels have become extremely valuable because of their exceptional preservation, sharp strike, and rare characteristics. Although more than 176 million 1940 nickels were struck in Philadelphia, the overwhelming majority spent decades in circulation. Every purchase, every cash register, and every pocket slowly wore away the coin's original details. As a result, finding one today in pristine, untouched condition is much more difficult than many people expect. One of the first things experienced collectors examine is the coin's original mint luster. A truly uncirculated example still shines much as it did when it left the mint more than 80 years ago. Bright surfaces, crisp details, and minimal contact marks make these coins especially attractive. Another important feature is the strike quality. During production, not every coin received the same amount of striking pressure. Some display weak details, while others show exceptionally sharp features that stand out immediately under magnification. Collectors pay special attention to the reverse of the coin, especially the steps leading to Monticello. These steps are one of the most important features in the Jefferson Nickel series. If every step is fully visible and uninterrupted, the coin may receive the coveted full steps designation. Full steps examples of the 1940 Philadelphia issue are significantly scarcer than ordinary examples. Because of their rarity and visual appeal, collectors compete aggressively whenever certified full step specimens appear at major auctions. Professional grading services evaluate these nickels using strict standards. Even tiny marks that are difficult to notice without magnification can affect the final grade. The higher the grade, the greater the potential value. This is why two coins with the same date can have dramatically different prices. A circulated example may be worth only a small premium over face value, while a gem-quality mint state, full steps example can command thousands of dollars. Another exciting area involves mint errors. Some 1940 Jefferson Nickels display doubled dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, or other mint-made errors. These unusual coins are highly collectible because each one tells the story of an unexpected event during the minting process. Collectors also appreciate the historical significance of the 1940 Jefferson Nickel. It was produced just 1 year before the United States entered World War II. Within a few years, the composition of the Jefferson Nickel would change to include silver for wartime production, making the early pre-war nickels an important part of American numismatic history. Many surviving examples remain hidden in old family collections, inherited albums, estate sales, and forgotten coin jars. Every year, collectors uncover beautiful specimens that have been stored safely for decades, preserving their original appearance. This possibility keeps collectors searching. Every roll of old nickels, every antique shop visit, and every inherited collection could contain an overlooked treasure waiting to be discovered. Auction records continue to prove that outstanding examples of the 1940 Jefferson Nickel deserve serious attention. While ordinary circulated coins remain affordable, exceptional certified examples with full steps and top mint state grades have sold for impressive prices, surprising even long-time collectors. If you own a 1940 Jefferson Nickel with no mint mark, don't spend it without taking a closer look. Examine its condition under good lighting, check for original luster, inspect the steps beneath Monticello, and look carefully for any unusual mint errors. What appears to be a common 5-cent coin could actually be one of the finest surviving examples of this historic issue. The 1940 Jefferson Nickel reminds us that some of the greatest treasures are hidden in plain sight. A coin that once bought everyday necessities during one of America's most important historical periods may now be worth hundreds, or even thousands, of dollars to the right collector. And with that, we've reached another incredible chapter in our countdown. But our number one coin is even rarer, even more valuable, and has amazed collectors with extraordinary auction results. Stay with us, because you won't want to miss the final coin on our list. Now, we move on to coin number 3, and this is a coin that millions of people have seen, spent, saved, or forgotten without ever realizing its true potential. The 1964 Jefferson Nickel, struck at the Denver Mint, is one of the most heavily produced nickels in American history. At first glance, it may seem impossible that such a common coin could be worth more than 5 cents. But in the world of coin collecting, conditions, strike quality, and rare varieties can transform an ordinary-looking nickel into an extraordinary collectible. The year 1964 was one of the busiest periods in the history of the United States Mint. America was experiencing a nationwide coin shortage, and the Denver Mint worked around the clock to produce enough coins for circulation. More than 1.7 billion Jefferson Nickels bearing the D-Mint mark were struck that year, an astonishing production figure that remains one of the highest for any Jefferson Nickel issue. Because so many were minted, these nickels found their way into nearly every cash register, vending machine, piggy bank, and wallet across the country. For decades, Americans carried them in their pockets without giving them a second thought. Even today, many people still have a 1964 Jefferson Nickel tucked away in an old coin jar or inherited collection. Despite the enormous mintage, truly exceptional examples are surprisingly difficult to find. Most coins entered circulation immediately and spent years accumulating scratches, worn details, and damaged surfaces. Coins that escaped circulation with brilliant original mint luster have become increasingly desirable among collectors. One of the most important factors determining value is the sharpness of the strike. During production, not every coin was struck equally well. Some display weak details on Jefferson's portrait and the reverse design, while others exhibit crisp, well-defined features that stand out immediately. Collectors pay particular attention to the steps leading to Monticello. These famous steps have become one of the defining characteristics of Jefferson Nickel collecting. Coins with all of the steps clearly visible and uninterrupted may qualify for the prestigious full steps designation. Finding a genuine 1964 full steps nickel is much more difficult than most people realize. Although billions were produced, only a tiny percentage display the sharp strike required for this designation. This rarity has made full steps examples some of the most valuable modern Jefferson Nickels. Professional grading services carefully inspect every detail before assigning a numerical grade. Even the smallest contact marks, hairline scratches, or imperfections can affect the final grade and ultimately determine the coin's market value. Auction records have shown just how valuable these nickels can become. While worn examples are generally worth only face value, superb mint state, full step specimens have sold for thousands of dollars, proving that rarity is not always determined by mintage alone. Another exciting aspect of the 1964 Jefferson Nickel is the possibility of mint errors. Collectors actively search for double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, repunched mint marks on earlier dies, and other unusual production mistakes. Significant mint errors can dramatically increase a coin's desirability and value. Many collectors enjoy searching through old bankrolls, specifically for 1964 nickels, because the large mintage means they are still relatively easy to find. The excitement comes from discovering that one extraordinary example hidden among hundreds of ordinary coins. The Denver Mint has long been known for producing coins with varying strike quality during periods of heavy production. This makes carefully examining each 1964 nickel especially important. A sharply struck coin with outstanding eye appeal can stand out immediately from the rest. Families often inherit jars of old coins that have remained untouched for decades. Inside these collections, beautiful uncirculated 1964 nickels sometimes emerge, protected from wear since the day they were issued. These discoveries continue to excite collectors around the world. The 1964 Jefferson Nickel also represents an important moment in American history. It was the last year before major changes in U.S. coinage composition occurred. Although nickels continued using the same metal composition, 1964 marked the end of an era just before silver was removed from circulating dimes and quarters in 1965. If you own a 1964 Jefferson Nickel, don't overlook it simply because millions were made. Carefully examine the coin under bright light. Look for strong original luster, minimal contact marks, a sharp strike, and complete steps beneath Monticello. These characteristics can make the difference between an ordinary 5-cent coin and a highly valuable collector's item. The story of a 1964 Jefferson Nickel reminds us that even one of America's most common coins can become an exceptional treasure when preserved in extraordinary condition. Sometimes the greatest discoveries aren't the rarest dates, they're the finest surviving examples of coins everyone thought were ordinary. We begin our countdown with a coin that countless people have handled over the years without realizing it might be worth much more than its face value. The 1962 Jefferson Nickel, struck at the Denver Mint, is one of those coins that often hides in old jars, inherited collections, and forgotten piggy banks. While most examples are worth only 5 cents, the finest specimens have become highly prized by collectors and have sold for remarkable prices. In 1962, the United States was experiencing a period of economic growth and rapid change. Every day, millions of nickels were needed for vending machines, public telephones, grocery stores, and countless everyday purchases. The Denver Mint worked hard to meet this demand, producing well over 280 million Jefferson nickels with the D-Mint mark. Because so many were struck, most people assume these coins are too common to have any real value. But experienced collectors know that rarity is not always determined by mintage alone. What truly matters is how many coins survived in outstanding condition. Most 1962 nickels entered circulation immediately after leaving the mint. They spent years moving through pockets, cash registers, banks, and vending machines, picking up scratches, worn details, and damaged surfaces along the way. Finding a beautifully preserved example today is much more difficult than many people realize. Coins that still display brilliant original mint luster, crisp details, and minimal contact marks are becoming increasingly scarce as time passes. One of the first things collectors examine is the quality of the strike. During production, not every coin was struck with the same amount of pressure. Some examples show weak details on Jefferson's portrait or on the reverse image of Monticello, while others exhibit exceptional sharpness. The most important area on the reverse is the staircase beneath Monticello. Collectors refer to coins with fully visible and uninterrupted steps as full steps examples. This designation is one of the most respected and valuable attributes in the Jefferson Nickel series. A genuine 1962 full steps nickel is surprisingly difficult to find. Although hundreds of millions were minted, only a tiny percentage possess the sharp strike necessary to reveal every step clearly. Because of this scarcity, collectors actively compete whenever certified full steps examples become available. Professional grading services inspect these coins under magnification evaluating every detail before assigning a grade. Even the smallest contact marks can affect the final grade. High-grade mint state examples are especially valuable because so few have survived in nearly perfect condition. Auction records continue to demonstrate the value of outstanding 1962D Jefferson Nickels. While ordinary circulated coins are generally worth only face value, exceptional mint state full steps examples have realized thousands of dollars when offered at major auctions. These impressive prices surprise many people who never imagined that a common-looking nickel could command such attention. Another reason collectors search for the 1962 D issue is the possibility of mint errors. Double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, and other striking mistakes can transform an ordinary nickel into a highly desirable collectible. Error coins are unique pieces of mint history, making them especially appealing to specialists. Many collectors enjoy searching through old bankrolls in hopes of discovering a hidden treasure. Others inspect inherited collections that have remained untouched for decades. Every old coin album or forgotten drawer holds the possibility of revealing a beautifully preserved 1962D Jefferson Nickel. The Denver Mint has produced billions of coins throughout its history, but only a small number remain in gem-quality condition today. Time, circulation, and everyday use have reduced the number of premium survivors, increasing demand among collectors seeking the finest examples. If you own a 1962D Jefferson Nickel, don't overlook it simply because it appears common. Examine the coin under bright light. Look for strong original luster, sharp details, minimal contact marks, and especially complete steps beneath Monticello. These features can dramatically increase its collector appeal and market value. The 1962 D Jefferson Nickel proves that hidden treasures don't always come from rare dates with tiny mintages. Sometimes the most valuable discoveries are the finest preserved examples of coins that millions of people once spent without a second thought. As our countdown continues, the next Jefferson Nickel becomes even more exciting. With greater rarity, stronger collector demand, and astonishing auction prices, the remaining coins on our list truly represent some of the greatest treasures in the entire Jefferson Nickel series. Stay tuned, you won't want to miss what's coming next. We begin our countdown with a coin that millions of Americans have seen, spent, or tucked away in a coin jar without ever realizing it could be worth far more than 5 cents. The 1976 D Jefferson Nickel, struck at the Denver Mint, may look like an ordinary circulation coin, but certain examples have become highly sought after by collectors and have sold for impressive amounts at auction. The year 1976 was one of the most memorable in American history. The United States celebrated its 200th anniversary, known as the Bicentennial. Across the country, there were parades, ceremonies, special commemorative stamps, and redesigned quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins honoring the nation's founding. Although the Jefferson Nickel did not receive a special bicentennial design, millions were struck during this historic year and became part of the celebration as they circulated throughout the country. Every 1976, D. Jefferson Nickel features the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his famous Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse. The small D mint mark identifies the coin as having been produced at the Denver Mint. Because hundreds of millions of these nickels were minted, many people assume they are all common and carry no collector value. However, experienced numismatists know that mintage figures tell only part of the story. The real challenge is finding one in exceptional condition with a sharp strike and outstanding eye appeal. Most 1976 D nickels entered circulation immediately after leaving the mint. They spent years passing through grocery stores, vending machines, restaurants, banks, and cash registers. As they circulated, they picked up scratches, nicks, worn details, and dull surfaces. Truly pristine examples became increasingly difficult to find as time passed. Collectors pay very close attention to the quality of the strike. Some coins display soft or incomplete details, while others show crisp lettering, sharply defined hair on Jefferson's portrait, and an exceptionally detailed image of Monticello. One of the most important features experts examine is the famous staircase beneath Monticello. If every step is fully struck and uninterrupted, the coin may qualify for the highly desirable full steps designation. This designation is one of the most respected achievements in Jefferson nickel collecting. Finding a 1976 D full steps nickel is considerably more difficult than many collectors expect. Despite the large number produced, only a small percentage were struck sharply enough to display complete steps. These coins command significant premiums whenever they appear on the market. Professional grading services carefully inspect each coin under magnification before assigning a numerical grade. Even tiny imperfections can affect the final grade. The highest mint state grades are especially rare because almost every coin experienced at least minor contact marks during production and distribution. Auction results have shown that superb examples of the 1976 D. Jefferson nickel can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, particularly when they combine a top mint state grade with the coveted full steps designation. These impressive prices continue to surprise people who believe all modern nickels are worth only face value. Another exciting possibility involves mint errors. Some 1976 D. nickels exhibit unusual striking mistakes such as double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, or other production errors. These unusual coins are prized by collectors because every error tells a unique story about the minting process. Many experienced collectors recommend searching through old rolls of Jefferson Nickels from the 1970s because high-grade survivors can still be discovered. Estate collections, inherited coin albums, and long-forgotten coin jars occasionally produce remarkable examples that have remained untouched for decades. The Denver Mint has produced billions of coins throughout its history, but only a tiny fraction survive in gem-quality condition. That scarcity is what makes exceptional 1976 D. nickels so appealing to collectors. If you own a 1976 D. Jefferson nickel, don't spend it without taking a closer look. Examine the surfaces for original mint luster, inspect Jefferson's portrait for sharp detail, and carefully study the steps beneath Monticello. What appears to be an ordinary 5-cent coin could actually be one of the finest surviving examples from this historic bicentennial year. The 1976 D. Jefferson nickel reminds us that hidden treasures often exist where we least expect them. Even a coin produced in enormous numbers can become a valuable collectible when preserved in outstanding condition.